Let me tell you, now is the time to upgrade your sneaker collection. Whether you're grabbing pairs for yourself for the new year or maybe grabbing some gifts for loved ones this holiday season, now is one of the best times of the year to upgrade what I call the door sitters, the pairs that you keep by your door that you throw on every single day whenever you leave the house. Even though you might have spent thousands of dollars on pairs of sneakers that you keep in boxes, the door sitters are the ones that you actually wear. Or hey, maybe you don't collect sneakers and you're watching this video just looking for a great new pair of sneakers for 2026. Well, either way, this video has you covered. I've tried almost every pair of shoes from almost every single brand because I've been reviewing sneakers on YouTube for the last 10 years, so I've tried a lot of sneakers. And from that crazy backlog of sneaker experience, I've come up with 10 pairs of sneakers that I think are great everyday wears for 2026. These are the kind of shoes that are not only incredibly versatile and look great with everything that you want to wear, but they're also very comfortable and they're inexpensive. And they're not that hard to get either. So with that being said, let's just dive into the list. The Nike V5 Runner. Starting things off with possibly the cheapest shoe on the entire list, we've got the Nike V5 Runner, a shoe that retails for $95 and currently is selling for well under retail on Nike's website, on resale sites, on Foot Locker, anywhere you want to look, you can find pairs for like 65 bucks. And honestly, I feel like that's a steal. It's a great looking pair of shoes. It's actually inspired by 2000s running sneakers, although it was designed recently and just released last year, or I think earlier this year. It's a budget model, but it doesn't feel or look like a budget model. The materials, sure, when you look up close, they don't seem as premium as some of the other shoes on today's list, but at the same time, who's really getting down close to your sneakers and looking at the materials like that? That's crazy. I mean, maybe I would, I don't know. Most people wouldn't. It comes with a mesh upper with synthetic leather overlays, a 3D Nike swoosh, as they specifically call out on the website, so if you like that, you like that, and then presumably just a standard EVA midsole. They actually don't spec what the midsole is on the website. I've worn this shoe before. It doesn't feel like anything special. It's comfortable enough. It gets the job done. It's more comfortable than a pair of like Jordan 1s, but at the same time, it's still a pretty basic feeling shoe. But seriously, for the price point, it's a great looking pair of sneakers. It's very versatile. You really can rock it with pretty much anything. If you're a kid or a teenager and you want to run around, you can do that in this shoe. I maybe wouldn't play basketball in it, but it's the kind of shoe that you really can kind of get dirty and mess up, and you really won't feel bad about it. Plus, it comes in a lot of different colorways. It's a Nike sneaker, so it is a name brand, and honestly, it really punches above its weight in terms of overall goodness. Nothing about it is exceptional, but nothing about it is bad. And I think the reason this shoe is so popular is not only because of that ridiculously low price point for what you're getting, but also because it looks really, really good. It's a very clean looking pair of sneakers. The design language, while yes, inspired by the 2000s, is really in right now, and I just think the paneling on the upper was done really well, and certain colorways really exemplify that. If you're on a tight budget and want a great pair of Nikes, the V5 Runner is a good way to go. By the way, if you want to grab this shoe or any of the other shoes on today's list, I've made sure to link them through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen, so check them out. The Brooks Adrenaline GTS 4. Brooks has always been known as a running sneaker brand, and honestly, one of the best running sneaker brands, but recently they've sort of reintroduced themselves back into the world of lifestyle footwear with the reintroduction of the Brooks Adrenaline GTS 4. Now to be fair, this shoe is a running sneaker from 2002, and they're bringing it back because, you know, retro running sneakers are popular right now, so it actually works out perfectly for them. But honestly, as a modern day lifestyle sneaker, it's dope. According to Brooks, they have updated the silhouette a little bit to be more modern day friendly. From what I can tell, they've sort of refined the silhouette a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if they're using a new foam in the midsole. They actually don't spec the foam. I don't know exactly what it is, but it does feel good underfoot. And what I really like about this shoe is that it seems more modern than a lot of the other retro running sneakers out there, which is a weird thing to say because they're all retro running sneakers, but this one definitely still feels like it could have been designed in 2025. It still feels clean, somewhat minimal, not overly done, not with too many crazy metallic overlays, which don't get me wrong, I do like, but I think for people that don't like that, this is not a bad way to go. Plus, you're getting a very comfortable, very well padded pair of sneakers, very similar to something like the New Balance 990 V6, a shoe that I absolutely love, for way less money. So that shoe, I believe, retails for around 200 bucks. I think it's like closer to 190 or 180 or something like that. This shoe comes in at just $140. And if you're a little bit of a hype beast, they actually dropped the Jeff Staple collab a little while ago, which is probably one of my favorite sneaker releases of 2025. I absolutely love that shoe. It's crazy. Very, very wearable, incredibly versatile. It's super comfortable. You can rock it with a lot of different things, specifically athletic fits, but also with a more sort of streetwear sort of fit. And I just love everything about it. It's a great lifestyle day-to-day shoe, and if you really need to, you can run in it because it was designed to be a running sneaker. I'm genuinely stoked about what Brooks is doing, and I hope that they continue this sort of push towards lifestyle wear. I feel like there's definitely a lot of potential there. They're not there yet, but there is potential. This shoe though, definitely worth picking up. The Nike Air Force 1 Low. Since its release, this shoe is by far and away the most popular shoe on the entire list. You've probably owned at least one pair of Air Force 1s throughout your life. Most likely the triple white colorway, because that does tend to be the most popular colorway, and for good reason. It goes with everything. It's surprisingly comfortable. It's been worn by every celebrity under the sun that wears Nike sneakers. Now, to be fair, the Air Force 1 Low is not as popular as it has been over the last couple years. I do think it's kind of in a more slump time right now. So you might be saying, well, then why is it on this list? Well, it's probably one of the best all-white sneakers just out there. It works with so many different fits, whether you want to dress up, dress down. You really can style it to fit any sort of look. Again, it is surprisingly comfortable, way more than it has any right to be. I don't know if it's because maybe they've added a thicker foam insole, or maybe the upper is just doing way more work than it needs to. For some reason, this is a really incredibly comfortable pair of shoes, surprisingly, and it's clean, man. It's like a super clean pair of shoes. Now, unfortunately, Nike has raised the price a lot over the last couple years. I think like 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 5 at this point, it came in at a retail price of like 90 bucks. Now you have to pay 115 bucks for them, which is a $25 price hike, which is frustrating when we just talked about the V5 runners, which honestly are a more comfortable pair of shoes. You're paying for a classic. In the same way that the Samba is classic, the Air Force One is classic. I just like the Air Force One better than the Samba, and that's why the Air Force One is on this list and the Samba is not, although the Samba is a great pair of shoes, and if you like it, get that shoe. It's actually cheaper. And the reason for this list really is versatility, everyday comfort, and style, and this shoe kind of hits all those things pretty well. The only problem is when you get a stain on it or a scuff on it, you want to buy a whole new pair, because they never look exactly the same after they get that first scuff. But hey, you know what? Some people do that. The New Balance 9060. The 9060 is a newer lifestyle model from New Balance that's kind of a mashup of some of their classic running sneakers, specifically the 990 line, and a newer, more modern midsole tooling. This silhouette's been out for I think the last 5 or so years, and since it first released, it's been incredibly popular. The upper of the shoe, the part that's inspired by the 990 line, comes primarily in a padded mesh accented by suede or leather overlays depending on which colorway that you get. And then moving down to the midsole, you've got a dual density foam that has this crazy sculpted shape. It's honestly a pretty unique looking pair of shoes, and one that I really wasn't sure if it was going to catch on or not, because I thought it was so different from what people usually wear. But it seems like people love this shoe, and specifically in this like black and gray colorway or the triple black colorway, it's continually selling out. Now, the reason this shoe is so popular might not just be because of the looks, but also because it feels really good on foot. The upper is really well padded, somewhat breathable, but it seems like the reason people like it so much is because the padding is just soft on your foot and it's very easy to throw on, whether you have it laced or unlaced. And then the dual density foam that I talked about a second ago in the midsole, it's soft. Now, it's not cloud-like softness, but it is a very comfortable and very everyday wear sort of shoe. It's the kind of shoe that strikes a perfect balance between crazy softness and firm. It's definitely closer to the soft side, but it's still a pair that you can wear all day and never feel unstable. Some of the more max cushion, very soft kind of foams can feel unstable because they're not really supporting your foot the way that they probably should. This shoe, on the other hand, doesn't have that problem. You get a decent amount of softness and some great support. And as far as the build quality goes, the materials seem nice, the construction seems good, there's no like weird glue stains or stitching problems, and for 160 bucks, it's not a bad price pair of sneakers. Now, the problem with this shoe is though, because it's so popular, it doesn't go on sale that often, but when it does, I'd say that's the time to grab it. In fact, if you want to grab the shoe for yourself, I've made sure to link it through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen. Now, the ones that I've linked, probably not all on sale, but sometimes they go on sale, so you never know. The New Balance is really going for that sort of modern Y2K runner aesthetic, and I think it does a really good job of that. And if that's the sort of vibe that you're looking for, you can't go wrong with the New Balance 9060. The Nike Vomero Plus. Now, when it comes to maximum cushion, at least reasonable maximum cushion, the Nike Vomero Plus is one of the best options out there. Now, to be fair, there are a lot of very well cushioned shoes from Hoka and Brooks and On, but honestly, I think the Nike Vomero Plus strikes the best balance between crazy softness and good looks. The Hoka Bondi 9 is a very soft shoe, but I just don't really like it aesthetically. I feel like it's kind of like, eh. Whereas the Nike Vomero Plus looks like a pretty standard Nike sneaker, but it's got these really sleek lines that make it feel very modern and futuristic. Recently, Nike has simplified their running sneaker line, and within each category of sneakers, you've got 3 different tiers: the standard, the plus, and the premium, with the premium being the most expensive and the standard being like a regular pair of Vomeros or Pegasus or whatever the case may be. The plus line is kind of the middle ground, sort of like the higher end pair of sneakers that gives you a lot of the good stuff but doesn't give you like the top of the line specs. When it comes to the Nike Vomero Plus, you're getting a max cushion pair of sneakers that maybe isn't as soft as the absurdly soft Nike Vomero Premium, which is a much more expensive shoe at $230 versus the $180 of the Nike Vomero Plus. That being said, the Vomero Plus is still an incredible pair of sneakers, and it's truly the pair of Nikes that I keep by the door the most, and that's why it's on this list. It features a full-length, pretty thick Zoom X midsole, which is one of Nike's softer foams, and it feels incredible underfoot. The Zoom X foam used on the Plus is sort of derived, or I guess inspired by, the Zoom X foam that they used on their top-of-the-line racing sneakers, and it's incredibly soft, and it's very, very bouncy, and it gives you a very cloud-like experience. It's also very light. The problem is you're just getting a lot of Zoom X foam, so overall it's not like the lightest shoe on the list, but it is a lighter foam, and if they used a heavier foam, this shoe would be a chunk. The upper of the shoe is also pretty nice as well. You've got this engineered mesh, which is very breathable in the toe area and nicely padded around the ankle, which is definitely a plus. A Vomero Plus. And again, aesthetically, it's a clean, everyday pair of sneakers. It definitely leans towards the sportier side, so this is the kind of shoe that maybe you wear to the gym, or maybe wear to work if you're going for a more casual vibe. But I personally like to rock this shoe with either shorts or sweats, but you can rock it with jeans if you really need to. And I do think it's one of the more versatile running sneakers that you can buy. The Air Jordan 4. This shoe definitely leans more into the sneakerhead side of things, so if you're not really a sneakerhead and you don't really care about having a fresh pair of sneakers on your feet at all times, then maybe the 4 isn't for you. But this silhouette is incredibly popular right now for sneaker collectors. One, because it's one of Michael Jordan's best signature sneakers ever. It first released back in 1989, and recently Jordan Brand has been bringing back all of the original colorways of the sneaker. Although it was originally designed to be a basketball sneaker, compared to modern basketball sneakers, it's not the kind of shoe I'd throw on foot and play ball in. Definitely not, but it's a great everyday lifestyle sneaker if you don't mind some older technology underfoot. Like, it's not super soft, it does get a little bit warm. Yeah, there's not a lot of cushion. Some people say it's comfortable. I don't think it's incredibly comfortable, but I wear it for the style. Now, what's nice about Jordan Brand releasing a lot of these pairs is that while they're not as exclusive as they used to be, they now are a lot easier to get and they're a lot cheaper on resale markets. In fact, there are pairs like this, the Cavestone Air Jordan 4s, which released in 2025, that are currently selling for well under retail. I think the retail price was maybe $200 or $220, I don't remember exactly what it was, but now you can grab it for like $150 or $160, which is an absurd price for a pair of Air Jordan 4s. Not only that, an OG colorway, the White Cement 4s, also released this year in 2025, and it also is selling for around retail, like $220, which like 2 or 3 years ago is unheard of. You'd never see that. You'd see this shoe going for like $350, $400, but now an incredible pair of sneakers like this, it has so much clout and so much hype behind it, you can grab for around retail. It's crazy. And when it comes to versatility, I do feel like the Air Jordan 4 is one of the most versatile Jordan retro models. It's got this sort of mid-top cut that works really well whether you want to wear it with shorts or whether you want to wear it with long pants. I personally love wearing it with jeans or cargos. You can even rock it with sweats if you want. It's a really great looking pair of shoes and it goes with pretty much anything. Is it the most comfortable though? Not really. It's not uncomfortable, but it's just not like any of the shoes that we've talked about so far. The New Balance 740. Originally released at the end of the 2000s, kind of leading into the 2010s, the New Balance 740 started life as a running sneaker. Unlike a lot of other 2000s running sneakers from other brands, New Balance decided to bring the 740 back out of the vault to re-release in 2024. Now, of course, the newer version of the shoe isn't exactly the same as the older version. It's more lifestyle friendly. It's got a slightly slimmer look. It's got a wider mesh. It's got some slightly different materials. It definitely fits the more modern vibe, but still captures a lot of that sort of vintage aesthetic. Is 2010 vintage? I was in college in 2010. That's not vintage. That's crazy. The 740 has become one of New Balance's more popular models over the last year because, first of all, it looks really good in my opinion, and second of all, it's priced pretty well at $115. And seriously, that open knit mesh with like those thin overlays on top that come in, I guess, a synthetic material with some reflective accents, they really make the sneaker pop. Then you pair that with the Absorb midsole, which is pretty comfortable underfoot and great for all day wear, and you've got a pair of sneakers that works with a lot of fits, whether you're going for a more sporty, more athletic sort of fit, or if you want to throw them on with a pair of jeans, you can really change up your look. They really work with a lot of different fits. It's the kind of shoe that I have multiple colorways of because maybe one day I want to go to the gym in like an all white pair, and then another day I want to rock them with like a sort of more loungy, dressed down jeans fit, and I'll throw on like a tan and orange one. This shoe in particular really embodies what this list is about: versatility, comfort, and aesthetics. This shoe has all of it, and it's priced really well at $115. You can't go wrong with the 740. Of course, if you're trying to complete that fit and finish off your brand new look with a brand new pair of sneakers, you gotta throw on a pair of Apothecary socks as well. Not only are they the most comfortable socks out there, but there's so many different colors and styles. With limited collections dropping every single week, you can find pairs that match every single look that you're going for. I co-founded Apothecary back in 2020, and since then we've been trying to create the best socks ever using the most comfortable materials, the best overall fits, and obviously creating designs that are fire. We just dropped a Godzilla collaboration, which is crazy. So complete your fit on apothecary.com, whether you're looking for the most comfortable socks out there or pretty much bro cats or any kind of apparel. You can also grab mystery bags on our website right now, so check them out. Also, you can check out our stuff in person at places like Takeout NY in New York City. But hey, if you're gonna grab them online, make sure to use code Seth on our website for 10% off of your order, or check out our brand new TikTok shop and you get 15% off of your order. The Air Jordan 1 Low. I'm a huge Air Jordan 1 fan. In fact, the Air Jordan 1 is my favorite sneaker of all time. I actually have a pair from 1985 on my shelf in the background of my videos because I like the shoe that much. I spent some money on it. But over the last couple years, the popularity of Air Jordan 1s and honestly Jordans as a whole has kind of declined, meaning that you can find sneakers like Air Jordan 1s in really good colorways for really good prices. And at the same time that's happening, the Air Jordan 1 Low has creepily become one of the more popular Air Jordan retros because as a low top, it works with shorts and with jeans really, really well. Jordan Brand seemed to notice this, so they started releasing more really good OG style colorways on the Air Jordan 1 Low. Like recently, we just got the Air Jordan 1 Low Chicago, a shoe that first released back in 2015, even though the Chicago colorway first dropped back in 1985. We didn't get a low top version until 2015, or was it 2016? Either way, we just got a retro of that recently, and it's fire and selling for below retail online right now, which is wild. Now, because the Air Jordan 1 Low is a basketball sneaker from 1985, it's pretty minimal in the way of tech. You don't really have any cushioning in the midsole except for a very small air unit, hence the name Air Jordan. You've got a rubber cup sole, which is kind of stiff. If you like a more firm ride, this is not a bad way to go. Now, the upper of the shoe generally comes in synthetic leathers. However, there are standard leather versions, tumbled leather versions, suede versions, elephant print versions. It doesn't really matter, whatever you're looking for, they generally have it. And there's also crazy collaborations like Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Lows, some of which go for thousands of dollars. Like the Air Jordan 4, the Air Jordan 1 Low has a huge hypebeast following, and if you're into that, the Air Jordan 1 Low is a very cheap way to buy into that sort of if you know, you know sort of sneaker culture, especially if you're grabbing like an OG colorway like the Chicago's. I mean, shoot, some of the best OG colorways out there are currently selling for like $100 on StockX, like the black toes. I think maybe not the UNCs, but there is a blue version. Is it the Royals? I don't remember exactly which one it was, but there's a lot of different Air Jordan 1 lows that are going for crazy low prices that are really clean pairs of sneakers that hypebeasts will respect. And if that's what you're looking for, the Air Jordan 1 low is a great way to go. However, don't expect it to be incredibly comfortable. That's all I'm gonna say. Also, actually, that's not the last thing I'm gonna say. I am gonna say that it is an incredibly versatile silhouette because it looks great with everything. I love 80s basketball sneakers. There's something about that simple leather build that just works with everything. You can dress it up too. I've seen people wear these to their weddings in higher end materials. It's a really, really versatile sneaker in every sense of the word. As far as price point goes, the retail price for the OG variants of the Air Jordan 1 lows tends to be around $145. It varies depending on colorway. So whatever you want to pay, you can pay it with the Air Jordan 1 low and still get some clout. The Adidas Evo SL. This shoe burst onto the scene in late 2024 as a cheaper version of the Race Day Pro Evo 1. That $300 plus Race Day sneaker is incredibly popular with runners, so it makes sense that Adidas wanted to try a more consumer-friendly version at a much more consumer-friendly price point of $150. But I don't think Adidas realized how popular this silhouette would be. In fact, when it first released at the end of 2024, it completely sold out, and then as it continued to drop through 2025, it also completely sold out. Now, they finally caught up with demand a little bit, so you can find these in stores, but the white and black colorway, the main one, that's still tough to find. I don't know if you guys saw it, but a week or two ago, I dropped a sneaker awards video with the top 10 best sneakers in specific categories, and the Evo SL, in my opinion, is the best new silhouette of 2025. And yes, it first released in 2024, but that was a very limited release that no one was able to get. So I called it a 2025 release, and it's that good of a sneaker to where I feel like it warrants being a 2025 release. It's kind of like when they gave Ben Simmons Rookie of the Year, even though it wasn't his rookie year, he was just injured the whole year. This shoe is absolutely designed to be a running sneaker. In fact, it's a top-of-the-line running sneaker. It features this incredibly lightweight engineered mesh upper that's very thin and very minimal and also very breathable. And then the midsole of the shoe is made up of Light Strike Pro foam, which is very soft underfoot and yet still pretty responsive and bouncy. Not only that, it's a really good-looking shoe. Whether you like sort of a minimal futuristic vibe or you like a pair of shoes that look sporty, this shoe is kind of for everyone. Now, obviously, I wouldn't wear the shoe with like a suit or something like that, but it's still a very versatile look and the kind of shoe that you really can throw on with most fits. In fact, I wear this with baggy jeans sometimes. Maybe it doesn't look great, but it's like the same look that a pair of Adidas Sambas is with a pair of baggy jeans. Like, your Sambas are like this thin and they kind of peek out of the end of the jeans. Kind of the same vibe, except a bit more modern. I don't know if that's your thing or not, but either way, I think the Adidas Evo SL looks incredible and is one of actually the best looking sneakers to release this year. And going into 2026, I feel like the dominance will continue and it will still be an incredibly popular silhouette. But it doesn't just look good, it feels incredible underfoot, and for the $150 retail price point, you are getting a lot of shoe for the price. But before we get to the first pair of sneakers, I do have an honorable mention, and the reason it's an honorable mention is because it's not technically a pair of sneakers, it's a pair of mules. And no, it's not the Apothecary mules, although I do think those are the best shoes out there, so check those out if you haven't yet. But the shoe that I'm talking about is the Birkenstock Boston. The Birkenstock Boston has truly become one of my go-to pairs of shoes. I have multiple pairs, I keep them by every door in the house, and I throw it on whenever I'm coming to the studio, whether I'm going to the office, whether I'm going to the store. It's just such an easy shoe to throw on, and yet it still works with a lot of different fits, especially if you get specifically the suede. The tan leather is great as well. I also have a pair of those, but the suede in particular I think is the most popular at the moment. There's two different options that you can grab when it comes to footbed, because obviously Birkenstocks are known for sort of molding to your foot. The problem is it takes a while to do that, and that first week of wearing your new Birkenstock Bostons can be somewhat painful, but that's with the original Birkenstock midsole. Recently, Birkenstock has released their soft footbed, which is a more padded footbed that still molds to your foot, but it really cuts down on the break-in time, and it actually starts off soft as soon as you slide your feet into it. It does feel like cheating a little bit, and I do think that I prefer the standard footbed. After wearing the shoe for like a week or two, it just seems like it's a more custom fit, but the soft footbed is also great. And man, the Birkenstock Bostons, I would really wear them with anything. In fact, I wore a pair to the office today, and I love them. Now, the one thing is that the price point is a little bit high. They cost between $160 to $170 if you're going for the suede version of the shoe. Now, that being said, they are meant to last a lifetime, so you can have them replace the outsole if you want, or take them to a cobbler and they'll do it for you. So you're buying a high quality product, but the buy-in is relatively high at $170, especially for a pair of mules. So check them out if you want. I highly recommend them. The ASICS Gel 1130. First released back in 2008, the ASICS Gel 1130 has made a huge comeback over the last couple of years. They reintroduced it and it's become probably the most popular sneaker that ASICS makes. I mean, you really can't walk around any city street or any mall without seeing 1130s on people's feet. It's become so ubiquitous, but yet it still has some hype behind it. So as with many other shoes on this list, the 1130 started life as a running sneaker and slowly transitioned into a lifestyle sneaker, mainly when it was reintroduced in the 2020s. And this is one of those shoes that is somehow a perfect balance of price point, comfort, and aesthetics. The midsole does feature some gel technology in the heel for a bit more added cushion. Now, it's not a lot of gel technology, but it does add the gel in the name, ASICS Gel 1130. I guess it's good to have it rather than not have it. The rest of the foam in the midsole is soft enough. It gets the job done. You've also got a Trusic or Trusic. I'm not exactly sure how it's supposed to be pronounced, but either way, it's a stability plate thing on the bottom of the shoe, which essentially helps stop torsional twisting, which means that it's going to be a more stable shoe than other shoes out there. It's also got a relatively wide base, so in general, it's a pretty stable shoe. The upper of the shoe is really well padded, especially around the ankle area. The mesh allows for some breathability on the upper, although the mesh is backed by another fabric which is not as breathable, as most meshes are, especially wide meshes. But where the shoe really shines is its aesthetics. Now, this design was actually inspired by the Gel Kayano 14 that released around the same time as the Gel 1130s. In fact, this was supposed to be the little brother to that shoe. But what I like about this shoe is that it simplifies the Gel Kayano 14s in a good way. It actually takes a shoe which, yes, was more premium, yes, had nicer materials, and yes, was a little bit more comfortable underfoot, and makes it into sort of an everyman shoe that everyone can afford. Comes in at a retail price of $99, which I think is amazing. And by simplifying the upper, it also makes the shoe a lot more versatile. And while yes, the upper materials are mainly synthetic or recycled, it still looks really, really good. And when you got those metallic silver accents on the upper of the shoe, specifically on the black colorway, and even like the Canyon brown colorway, is it called Canyon Pearl? I forget exactly the name of that colorway, but there's like a brown and cream colorway. Those metallic accents really make this shoe pop and really give it that 2000s running sneaker aesthetic. In fact, if you look at resale platforms, I think the most popular colorway of this shoe is the black and metallic silver colorway. In fact, if you guys want to check it out and maybe grab a pair for yourself, you can grab it through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen. And I've got to say, more so than any other shoe on this list, this is the shoe that I want to throw on my feet the most. It just goes with everything. It looks good. If you want to go a little bit more hypey, you can grab some of the collaboration colorways, like the Gallery Department colorway, which now goes for like $1,200 on the resale market minimum, which is crazy. But since its introduction, ASICS has dropped a lot of different colorways, so really no matter what you're looking for, you can find it. And while the materials aren't like top of the line materials, they're really good and better than most other $100 sneakers out there. And so seriously, if you haven't checked out the ASICS Gel 1130s, you got to. But that wraps up my list. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hit subscribe on the way out, and I'll see you in the next one.